God has a plan for everyone. If he wants them dead, they're gonna die. But it's suicide or whatever might be considered a sin. But it's selfish and stupid to think that God made the universe so giant and that there's not someone else besides us.
What do you do at Uhual? Okay, so last time I went to Uhual, it was actually the one that you work. Then I ended up dropping the trailer off. What's up, guys? I moved into a new place, and so we ended up getting a new studio. And my boy Dylan here, he's done a ton of work to make it a nice little homey studio.
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
Say what you want to say, bro.
Yeah, welcome to the Pone Zone. That's not what it's called.
That's what we're calling it now.
Yeah, we're calling it the Pone Zone.
What does that mean?
Pound Town, whatever. So,
Gosh.
New set. It's going to be different every single week because we have to tear it down after each episode. What? What are you doing?
What? Don't worry about me.
All right. We have to tear it down after each episode, so if it looks like shit 1 week, it's because Joe set it up.
So true.
Yeah, so whatever. Joe's bald, if that's a thing by now.
Oh, yeah, I'm bald now, by the way.
Yeah, we don't know when when his baldness shows up first because we've done so many videos at this point.
I've been bald for quite a while.
Yeah,
since the first time you've seen this.
Like a month.
Yeah,
so.
it's been even the first episodes. Like I don't think the setup's even fully done.
Yeah, no, not even close. So,
excuse me.
Anyway, hope you enjoy the new space. Trying to get some, new stuff moving. Whatever. I don't know.
We're doing new stuff?
Well, I mean, fucking no. It's all the same. Nothing's
all right,
changing.
enjoy the episode.
Yeah.
So, okay, the contract was to drop it off at Spokane.
Oh.
And we dropped it off in Boise.
Oh.
So, a little ways out there. Apparently, we weren't supposed to do that, even though Google said it was technically fine.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened to you?
Yes. So with U-Haul stuff, so there's two kinds of contracts. There's in-town, that are one-ways. In-town, so you're going back to the same place you picked it up at. One-ways are you're dropping off at a different location. And there have been multiple times people have been like, oh, can we drop it off here? And we're like, no, that's an in-town. That needs to go back to where you got it from. We can't take it. If we take it here, you have to pay a lot of money. You don't want to pay that money.
Yeah, they didn't mention it whatsoever. They didn't ask me where it was supposed to be.
Nice.
So we dropped it off. And then I got a call later, and they were like, "Yo, you shouldn't have done that." And I'm like,
well, I've
now
done
what?"
it, so
they're like, "Well, we're not gonna charge you, but don't do it again."
yeah.
And I'm like, "All right, cool."
Pretty much, if they catch it when you're at drop off, then they'll tell you
Leave.
take it where it's supposed to go. But if they catch it afterwards, they can't tell you to come back and take the trailer. That's a U-Haul problem at that point.
Yeah, rad. All right, so that's my bad. We didn't want to drive it back like an empty trailer from Boise up to Spokane.
That's fair. That's a long drive.
Well, yeah, according to the contract, I should have never taken it to Boise in the first place. But my brother needed a trailer, and I went, well, I already paid for one.
Nice.
So we just used that one.
That's smart.
I don't know. Do you ever get angry customers in there? Because I went in there and talked to one of your boys. I don't know. I don't remember his name. But
describe him.
Average white guy with brown hair.
Was he a bit large?
No.
Was he?
He's on the skinnier side. Maybe like fit even.
Did he have a hat on? A baseball hat, maybe.
Maybe.
Or maybe
he had facial hair.
Thicker hair than me.
He had facial hair. Thicker. You have some pretty thick hair.
Probably.
I don't know, but he was kind of a homie. Except at first I wasn't sure. I try and go in and, my goal is always to make them laugh.
Yeah.
Whoever I'm talking to, and especially a customer service person.
Yeah.
And every now and then I get somebody who's like, little tough to get to at first, right? And he was one of them. But then next thing you know, all of a sudden we were making jokes by the end of it. It was pretty fun. So like I slithered my way into his tickle bone, if you will.
Nice.
That was good stuff. Fun. That guy was cool. Shout out to that guy. Too bad I don't remember his name, but he is one of your boys. How often do you guys deal with terrible people?
Usually it's at least one per day. Sometimes there's days without them. But usually it's not too many per day. It helps that usually we're only there for like half a day. So there's the morning shift and there's the evening shift. So if there's one in the morning, there sometimes isn't one in the evening and whatnot. But oftentimes though, the good outweighs the bad, and there's a lot of really nice customers, even if there is a couple bad apples.
Do you have any stories?
Um,
Any real bad stuff? What about coworker stories? There's all sorts of. There's always shenanigans going on, especially when it's just a ton of dudes working there.
Yeah, there's two ladies. One's the boss, the manager, and the other one is her sister. She's just there for the summer. I actually think she's going back home today or sometime in the near future.
Yeah, get her out of there, dude.
I personally like her because I like interacting with women. I'm a guy,
Amen,
so I like
dude.
doing that.
She.
I'm
sure they like interacting with you. Amen. Amen.
Some of them do. But one of my coworkers, Jeremiah, he probably shouldn't have said his name.
You can say his name.
He doesn't.
Shout out to Jeremiah.
He doesn't like her very much, because I can understand his point of view, because her, like some of the other newer ones, are a bit lazy, but when she is working, she does well. So I don't know.
You just gotta grab a whip. Whatcha? Get to work.
Yeah, I'd probably work at least for a little bit.
You think so? You don't think you'd get fired on the spot? Dare you to try then. If you don't think you get fired, you just get like a warning to begin with. Might as well try.
I might. I'm not try it, but I think it might actually not fire me on the spot. But I don't want to try that. I like making money, and I don't want to have to find another job.
Yeah, fair enough, dude. Uhaul's right close to us too. I don't know if I should dox us, I guess, but it is. I don't. Should I say that? Too late now. Yeah, it's a nice little commute there. Cool, dude. Do you ever? I've always wondered how much you guys actually clean those things. Because anytime we get them, they're supposed to be clean, but it's supposed to be by the person before, right?
So technically, it's supposed to be. The customers are supposed to clean it. It's supposed to be, so we clean everything so there's two kinds of U-Haul places. There's dealerships and there's actual U-Haul places. I don't remember the name for them, but so we're an actual U-Haul place. But a dealership is pretty much just someone that has a lot and has signed a contract with U-Haul of, hey, we are able to drop off U-Haul stuff at your place, and you're supposed to do the stuff that normal U-Haul places do, which they don't oftentimes. So with us, how it works is every time that trucks come back or trailers come back, we clean them out, clean the back, clean the cabs. If it's truck, do the fluids, and then check the tires to make sure everything's good. And that's just to make sure that at dispatch it's clean. Customers are supposed to bring it back at the same cleanliness they got it at. So technically we should never have to clean, but gabagoo, we do anyways. One thing today was a pain in the butt. If it's dirty and actually dirty, we're supposed to charge a cleaning fee because, it's going to take us longer, so we have less time to do other stuff. That being oftentimes like mud or other gunk. If it's just like dust, so how we clean out the backs is, either we have a leaf blower and we just blow it out with that, or if we need to clean out more, we use a mop. And then similar for the cab, we use a brush and a towel to scrub it off. But usually we only charge a cleaning fee if we need to use excessive stuff. So if it takes more, if we think it's going to take more than just the blower, we'll probably charge a cleaning fee. Today, someone came in with a 26-foot truck. So a bit of space.
That's big.
Yeah.
And I didn't know they came that big. Whoa.
Yeah, those are our biggest trucks, the 26-footers.
Whoa.
And I decided to be generous and didn't want to be mean and didn't charge them a cleaning charge. The entire cab had stuff in it, a bunch of food and wrappers and whatnot. So that was fun. And then I didn't want to just brush it outside because then it would be all over the ground. So I brought over the vacuum for it. And then the back was, at least in parts of it, was caked with mud. So that was fun.
Nice. They had a fun time moving, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Have you ever heard of a U-Haul truck not returning?
Oh yeah.
How often does that happen?
Not very often. Well, it's relatively often for people to be late or excessively late, just because either they're being a pain or they didn't understand their contract.
Okay, I just had a great idea.
Oh.
Rent out a U-Haul truck for like $40, right? The biggest one. You'd rent it for $40. Then it's all up to you for the mileage, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you take it to your lot, wherever a Walmart parking lot, whatever, and you just park it there, and you live in it.
That would be very expensive living.
Would it?
That's $40.
Not if you're.
The $40 would be that per day.
Oh.
So it's a 24-hour charge.
You almost had a new meta.
Yeah, I thought it was about $40 just to have it.
Unfortunately not.
Dang, dude. So yeah, okay. I was about to solve homelessness. Yeah. Shoot, never mind. Go on.
Idaho already solved homelessness by U-hauling them out of the state.
Just send them to Washington.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Like all of our tons and tons of trash that America develops, we just ship it to a different country.
I mean, ship it to the ocean.
Yeah.
That seems to be a popular thing.
The fish will eat the plastic. We're chilling.
What do you think we should do with trash?
What do you think I should... What?
Yeah, what do you think we should do with trash?
Well, take it away from me. I don't want it. So anywhere where I'm not, we can put it.
So just keep doing what we're doing?
Yeah, either that or shoot it into space. Burning it seems chill. I don't know if I'm a big climate
Shoot it at the sun?
guy. I feel like the water level is not raised whatsoever based off of satellite imagery. Along with many of the cities that they claimed would be underwater by now are not underwater. In fact, the coastline has not moved whatsoever.
Strange.
So I think a lot of it is a farce and a big scare tactic for control. So in terms of like burning it, I feel like burning our trash, you're burning a lot more than just carbon into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like carbon dioxide, it's just plant food. We could have more of it. Plants will just grow faster and more big, which is something that we probably use, honestly. But there's more than just carbon dioxide that would be burned, that's for sure, which I don't want to breathe. So shooting it into outer space would be chill, probably.
Nice.
What would be cool maybe is if we can make a space station of some sort that all of it shoots up to, that burns it, separates the gases somehow, and releases the good stuff back to Earth.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Good stuff being plant food, carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
And then, maybe we can figure out something that we can make out of those byproducts rather than just shooting it out of space. That'd be cool.
That is smart.
It would cost a lot of money.
It would.
In fact, it would be a major deficit. I don't think it would make money unless those products
eventually
from
space...
those other gases would, if like they sold them at a decent price and then they were a hot commodity, people wanted them, then it might be able to pay for itself. But shooting things into space, it would have to be a very, very, very wanted, expensive item probably to pay for it all.
With space, at least this is my opinion, when planes first came out, it was only the elite who could afford it because it was the new hot thing and it was very expensive. I'm pretty sure this is going to be eventually going to be the same thing with space. Eventually it's going to be normal and it's going to be not cheap, just like airplanes aren't cheap, but not excessive.
You think it'll be like Star Citizen? People up there fighting, I guess, for a more non-nerd example, Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars is still nerdy, but people know about it, unlike Star Citizen.
Eventually, yeah.
You think so? What do you think about all the Oh, you're going into the Airforce, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think about the UAPs?
UAPs?
UFOs? Unidentified aerial phenomena?
What about
aliens? What do you think about them? Do you think they're real? Do you think they're not real? Do you think they're from out of this world or from this world?
Like, what examples?
Well, there's grainy videos that people pull out their old potato camera to film. Have you seen those?
I have not. Two things that just came to my mind. One, in regards to older ones, Oh, I think during the Cold War there was a lot of deception. I'm gonna come back to this. I'm not entirely against it. Actually, three things. One,
I think
the
it all
Cold War,
started during the Cold War for sure.
there was a lot of
Even back in
deception.
World War One.
Yeah. In modern day, I think it's all malarkey, because you can make a very accurate video, picture, whatever you want to make in with AI, and it can be unmistakably accurate, and it can be scary how accurate they can be. However, back in the Cold War and before then, I think it would be possible.
What about the footage that directly comes from declassified military videos, either from Air Force or Naval?
In regards to other lives than us, this is something I've heard from other people, and I believe it because it just makes sense to me. Of it's selfish and stupid to think that God made the universe so giant and that there's not someone else besides us.
I would like to combat that.
Oh?
Yes. The idea that we are made in his image and that he's given us dominion over Earth, which I think Earth, based off its Latin root, is literally just dirt. So including every other planet that is made out of rock of some sort, I'm assuming that might even fall under the definition of Earth. So we would still have dominion over those planets as well if we do end up getting out there, if you know what I mean. And the idea that we have dominion over not only that, but all the creatures that have also been made on Earth, being dirt, any other creature that we would find on any other planet, we would probably have dominion over. We're the ones made in God's image kind of thing.
Yeah.
Along with, if they're smarter than us, I don't think that would really work biblically with my current understanding. Because we're made in God's image, we have abilities unlike anything else to basically be conscious, or like at least self-conscious, right? To be able to have dominion over, like monkeys, they have the limbs, but they don't have the brain. They don't have the soul, if you will. They don't have they don't have the curiosity that our God has, right? That we reflect. So if there was another being out there that was more capable than us, I would probably, I don't know, I'd have to figure it out.
If there were aliens, I wouldn't say that they're necessarily more capable than us, maybe just further along than us. Because like eventually we're going to, at least I think, eventually space travel is going to be a normal thing. Just like how planes
You think it
slowly
will be,
developed.
or do you think God will come back first?
Oh, that's...
Big JC descending through the clouds in his elegance.
Oh, I really... On the one hand, I really want to see space travel become a thing. On the other hand, if God comes back, then the universe is our oyster, so...
So true. I mean, I figured...
yeah.
My own... Like, I've been trying to figure out what heaven is going to be like, right? There's all sorts of different takes that people have, and it's really fun to kind of guesstimate what it's going to be. But I see no reason why the cosmos would be gone necessarily. Or if it does disappear, it would just be remade. Because we're supposed to be on a new Earth, right? So if we're still on a globe of some kind, just one that is not cursed by the fruit of knowledge and evil, if you will, I see no reason why we would not have eternity to explore the eternal cosmos, exploring God's creation and his beauty. I think that would be really cool. So I don't know if we're going to get to that in this era, or this story, if you will.
Yeah.
But past once Christ finally, I mean, he's already defeated death, but once he finalizes it, if you will, I see no reason why we can't go explore. We'll have a lot of time on our hands.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but aliens, I've always wanted them to be real for so long. I used to, I didn't yell at all. I'd look up into the stars and go like, aliens, if you're out there, you're listening to me, please come and abduct me, just because I wanted to know so bad. For myself, right? I've always wanted to see it in my own eyes. I do think that not all of those videos can be fake. I think probably all of them can be, I guess, but I don't think all of them are.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them out there. Most of them are probably fake, but I have no reason to think that some of them are probably the deep state.
Some of them are just spatial phenomena, or other things like...
Well, what is that?
One of the things that I saw a video on was it's like a floating ball of light.
Oh, yeah.
And what it was...
Ball lightning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or other things similar to that of... without context, it does look like it's not supposed to be here.
Yes. I mean, I've always loved the example. I don't remember who said it. I don't know who said it, but it could have been Neil deGrasse Tyson, actually, which,
That
he's
guy's
an
wonderful.
interesting fella. It may not have been him, but he was talking about how, imagine going to another planet, another homeworld where they don't have clouds in the sky, right? And you're trying to explain to those people what clouds are, and it's like they're these huge puffy things of tons and tons of water that float above our heads, and sometimes they get so full of water that they pour pounds and pounds and gallons of water onto everything and just soak the entire everything below. And then sometimes they get so strong that they get into a hurricane, right? They get into a big swirling wind and they come through and wreak havoc on everything, along with shoot these bolts of lightning, which they would have no concept of. These bolts of
Energy and
shots
plasma.
of energy down into the earth and explode and start fires. And it's like, that sounds terrifying. When I see a cloud outside, I'm like, oh, wow, I love clouds. I even like it when it's stormy a little bit. But to somebody who has no concept of what a cloud is, there's no way for them to conceptualize how clouds would be nice.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. I don't know. I don't remember why I got onto that, but it's a fun thought.
I think if I'm tracking, reason you got onto that was the effect of without context and knowing about it, it's oftentimes scary.
I was not going on that, I don't think, but
Okay.
that was really good. I like what you just did. That sounds super smart. Say that again.
Oh gosh.
Something about without context.
Without
and it
context
being
and
unknown or unfamiliar, it's scary. That's
Yeah.
so true. I don't have an example or anything, but that's super true.
um
Maybe that's why, like, my bald head. As soon as I saw myself in the mirror for the first time being bald, it was so unfamiliar that I went, oh, and then I was chill.
or in some effect sometimes people with God.
Oh. Whoa, yeah, dude. I wonder, a lot of people who don't believe in God, I feel like the biggest thing for Christianity as a whole, or people who don't believe in the Christian God, if you will, right? God. It's like, I don't understand why anybody wouldn't. And so it always boils down to just a misunderstanding of who he is.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you fear him, like you're supposed to fear him, but in a more respect kind of manner. Along with, he does hold the authority. The only reason why we're even here right now is because of his mercy.
A thought on the fear of God. This is something that went through my mind a couple weeks ago, I think. Yes, the fear of God of the respect part, but also the fear that your loved ones won't, or the people that you meet won't go to heaven. That fear can drive you to try to
So, like,
be an example and to try and spread the word of God more. That's something that came through my mind a while ago.
An example of, like, having healthy fear,
Yeah.
or even just having, it's a motivator to a degree at least. I think the main motivator that we want to strive for is to do it just out of our own love for him.
Yeah.
But the fear is absolutely, it's real. It's there. It's not something that it's not something that absorbs me. It's not something that, I don't think it's a negative thing.
Mm-hmm.
At least the fear that we're supposed to have of him. Right? Yeah.
I have something to say on that.
Please.
I remember hearing about this one guy I follow online. He said the fear of God is similar to how, like, the sun, we appreciate and we, like, need and love the sun because of what it does for us. But you wouldn't want to touch it.
I mean, I kind of
Yeah.
do.
That would hurt.
Yeah.
It would hurt.
Well, same reason why I stared at it back in elementary school. Like, I want to look at it. And it burned my retinas.
Much. Yeah, dude.
I maybe got like 2 seconds in, if even. You gotta look away pretty quick.
Yeah.
But
second and a half, maybe.
it's kind of the same thing.
That's
as the
probably still
ocean.
generous.
I think the ocean is almost like even a better example because it's very large.
That's true.
And there's a lot of mystery to it, and there's stuff to be, like, actually afraid of in it. But
It's
Like, it could kill you.
Yeah, the
But-
water itself, though, is benevolent. What's
It's-
in it, though?
it's
I
like
guess
God's creation is an
well,
example of God.
every analogy falls apart eventually, but
Yeah, it
it's
does.
it's a good one for now. Yeah. Without
It's-
pushing it too far.
It's got history in it. If
Yeah.
the sharks weren't trying to eat you all the time,
It's
the
like,
vastness of it is scary enough.
I think the way that the Bible describes it is more of a reverence. I think that's the right word, right? Which is more of a respect and the fear of understanding that he has the capability and he is the only being with the authority
Yeah.
to bring harm to you.
In
at
regards
all.
to that, it's almost like God is reflected in his creation.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
absolutely.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh.
That's why I love going out in nature so much.
You look up at a huge tree, it's like, that tree's awesome. Wouldn't want to get to the top of it, though. That'd be, unless,
I love climbing.
Or even when I meet a cool guy like Kip and I'm like, wow. Wow.
To the topic we have.
Cool, dude. Dude, when, how, and when, and what did you meet Jesus?
Oh gosh, my whole life.
Your whole life?
So grew up in a Christian home. Went to church my whole life.
Nice, yeah, it's a good one.
Went to Bible camps growing up.
Sick.
Don't know if you guys know. Do either of you know what the Awana is? The Awana programs for kids.
Iguana?
Awana. AWANA.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
It's
I know iguanas are
Almost
lizards.
like VBS. but
it's like VBS every week.
What's VBS?
Uh, okay, it's like Chi Alpha.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Chi Alpha, but for kids.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
That helped. That was the first thing that consistently, well, outside of church, consistently helped me progress. I'd
Progress, you mean,
say
like,
in learning to know God, I'd say it was probably my early teens, when I finally actually accepted God and accepted Christ as my Savior, and that whole chronicle of my life started.
can I ask you, like, what led up to that moment? What eventually convinced you? I know some people don't have, like, a moment of, I believe now. But, like, what did that look like for you?
So I never really had a defining moment,
Yeah.
but
sure.
it was multiple things of multiple times at multiple places of having that nagging voice in the back of my brain of, you're not saved, you're not saved, you're not saved. Maybe I am, I don't know. So that was a constant thing for a year or two. And then just a couple of times dedicating my life to Christ and praying about it with multiple people. So, yeah.
What, you dedicated your life multiple times? What do you mean?
So it was more of just, it's not that, it was that I was young and, how do I phrase this? There was still doubt in my mind at certain points, whether that be that I hadn't actually been, that I hadn't.
So you kept having a voice saying that you're not saved.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about if that could have been from the enemy?
Yeah, I know it was now.
Oh, amen.
Yeah, there's.
Okay, cool. I was about to go on a whole rant, like trying to convince you of it. That's cool.
No, there. Oh,
I think it was plotting.
I wouldn't.
I-
Okay, I'm
as
trying
soon
to
as you
think.
said that, I'm like, that's not from God.
Yeah. The major things since then that have definitely convinced me that I am saved is how often God talks to me at certain points, especially through music and nature. Those are the two ways he talks to me. So I love music and I
That is
love
wow.
nature.
Amen, dude.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I'll just be listening to a random song, just like
Like
not
WAP?
even related to
No, okay.
God or anything, and God will just be like, "Hey, you know this line right there? Yeah," and then just twists it in a different way, and you're like, that's how, and that applies to your life or whatever. Like, I wasn't thinking about that.
Yeah, you just kind of have revelations through life as he kind of guides you.
Yeah, God's amazing.
So what interesting. So growing up then, even surrounded by Christians, there's an expectation then to be
Yeah.
saved and or to act a certain way or have a confidence about it. But when you're a kid, I don't think you really have that.
Yeah.
Because you don't know. You're just kind of trusting in your parents, which
Yeah.
is what you're supposed to do, right? That's the whole childlike faith kind of thing.
Yeah.
But especially as you get older into the teens, past puberty, your brain starts developing. You're like, wait a minute, what if this isn't true? And then doubts start to happen, and then the enemy will take advantage of that.
Yeah.
For me, especially one of the things I'm most grateful for is the peace that Jesus Christ offers me. Yep. And the idea that I don't have to worry about my salvation because I called upon his name, and the fact that I believe I am sealed. I don't think I can lose my salvation. I think I am with him for eternity now.
Yeah.
So it's like any voice that's putting doubts into my head, I think it's totally fine to question and keep pursuing truth and challenging it to gain a better understanding. But anything putting fear into my life to taking me away from God, right?
Yeah.
To make me too scared to even come back to him. It's all from the enemy.
Yeah. In regard to the peace of God, yeah, the peace of God is amazing. It's something that I never truly experienced until there was 2017. There was an event in my life, and at some point, and then I'm pretty sure it was through. I've had probably hundreds of people throughout my life praying for me, and someone brought up said pray for peace and whatnot. So I asked God for his peace going through that major event and prayed for peace. And ever since then, God's given me his peace. And
Dude,
good Lord, it's amazing.
prayer is powerful. I've learned that over the past year of trying it out. It's pretty rad.
Yeah.
Especially when you pray in a righteous manner, being, about his will,
Yeah.
praying for things that would ultimately bring glory to him, right? Because otherwise you're not going to get either an answer or it's not going to happen. But yeah, super cool. It's really cool how clear the Bible says how the Lord is willing and wanting to give you everything. It's just up to you to ask the right thing and or pray with the right heart, if that makes sense. Super cool, which is helpful because if you have the Holy Spirit within you, kind of helps out. Because otherwise you don't know what to pray about. Super cool, dude.
It's always fun to ask what... Was it you who I was talking to earlier about asking what to pray about, or was that my mom?
Probably your mama.
Yeah,
Shout out to Kip Mama.
It's always amazing to pray and ask God what he wants you to pray about, and then wait a little bit for him to respond, and then just pray about that. Or sometimes, this is one of the things my mom does, of whenever she just wakes up in the middle of the night for no reason, she's just like, okay, God, what do you want me to pray about? Because you woke me up, so apparently you want me to do something.
Oh, cool. That's a fun attitude to have.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Do you believe in coincidences at all?
I believe in God's timing.
Amen. I think that there can be coincidences. I don't think I've been convinced otherwise yet. But many things are absolutely from God for sure. Yeah. Cool, dude. When you've gone to the camping trips, the Bible camping trips, right? What are some shenanigans that have...
Oh.
Yeah, because I have a lot of memories of all sorts of random nonsense from all sorts of camping trips. You're good. You can bump the mic as much as you want.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, don't bump it maybe as much as you want, but
Oh,
it's okay to bump it accidentally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably. So, most of the camps I went to was more of like a cabin scenario. Though there have been a few backpacking trips I've gone on. Those have always been amazing. I've gone to Harrison Lake. It's North Idaho.
I've been there a few times
amazing.
actually. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, a 3-mile hike and really short hike.
Yeah.
And
Fun,
then
dude.
beautiful lake, beautiful
Big
mountains around
glacier
it.
lake. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just snow melt. It's
yeah.
frigid.
It's nice. I enjoy cold lakes. Well, I tell myself I do. But what we would do each time was first day we usually were there for 3 days. First day we'd just do some little hiking around because we would base at Harrison. We would hike around the area.
Yeah.
And then second day we'd go up and hike what we would call Little Harrison Peak. So you know when you hike in and there's the big on the right and the little shorter stuff on the left.
I think so. Yeah.
So we called it Little Harrison, the left part, because Harrison Peak is the one on the right, the big one.
I think I could show you a pic. This is.
Oh, I have a picture.
This background is probably the little one that you're talking about. Is it?
I think so.
That's the background of my phone, dude.
That's wonderful.
Cool. Yeah, I peeped that.
Nice.
That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah, it's
Rad.
it's a beautiful place.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, we'd hike that, and then every time I went, the year before, so I went I think 3 times on that one, and the year before I went, they had gone to Big Harrison Peak on the 3rd day.
Nice.
They had bushwhacked and they had lots of fun. But every year that I went, we never went, whether it be because of the weather. I think 2 times it was because the weather was really bad, and the 3rd time was no one was interested in going because we were all tired. But in regards to, I'm going to say one thing first and then the shenanigans, or kind of shenanigans, or memorable things. So one thing, something that the leader brought up most times that we were up there was that even with, so God made the world and everything perfect.
Amen.
But then with...
I love saying that.
I know.
It's fun, dude.
It is. But then with sin, the world is no longer perfect. And then the flood destroying the world. Well,
amen.
to an extent. And the flood bringing God's wrath upon the world.
Hallelujah.
But even with that, and you've seen it, even with the flood and God's wrath, the world is still beautiful. Even in a broken world, God still shows us beauty.
So true.
Okay, back to the shenanigans stuff. Not necessarily shenanigans, but one of my most memorable parts.
He showed his beauty in you. Amen.
I don't.
That was gross.
Was it?
Yeah. It's chill.
Gross in what way? Like a gay way or like a shouldn't have done it way?
Kind of a.
Because a gay way's chill.
Definitely both, dude.
Gaze show.
Amen.
We live with a Navy guy, so.
That's also, yep.
Yeah, you're talking to a Airforce guy right now.
Yeah, sure. I'm not sure.
Sorry to interrupt.
You're good.
For a bad gay joke, apparently.
But you've hiked it, so you know how like it's a knife ridgeline, like sheer cliffs on both sides.
Yes.
So
I didn't. Okay. I could tell you about my camping trip experience at the same place, but go for it.
So I've never hiked like that before, so it's a bit scary when you have to throw out your whole body weight over the edge to progress the hike, and then you're waiting. You just have to like hold still while the people in front of you have to do it on the next part, and while there's a bunch of people behind you also waiting to do it. Which is a bit scary. It's definitely worth the view though. And then the funny thing, one of the times we went up, was starting to the weather was starting to get a little worse as we were going up, and rain and wet rocks are not the best thing to climb on, especially when you're going like that to that angle.
Usually rocks are prettier when they're wet.
This is true, but they're also more slippery.
Also, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to fall to my death. I mean, out of all the places to die, I think I'd want to pick that place.
That would be a pretty good spot.
Would be one of my top places, but I don't want to die yet, unless it's God's timing. Which, please let me have some more time.
Do you want more? That's kind of a loaded question.
You want to fucking die?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay with dying. I'll come back to that in a second.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
I want to finish this because you're good. But one of my favorite things is by the time we got into the peak with the weather in the condition it was, on one side it was perfect view. We could see the Pondere Lake and everything. On the bowl side of the lake, it was all fog, and you could not see like 10 feet onto that side.
Whoa.
It was beautiful but terrifying.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Wow.
Yeah. It's
Cool,
fun.
dude. Because, yeah, I've been there to just try and describe it to the people who are listening. You're on top of, like, the highest peak around, the highest mountains around, and everything around you could see for miles
It's
upon miles,
beautiful.
hundreds of miles maybe. You could see up to Canada,
Yeah.
and you're still in just North Idaho. You can see for a really far distance, and it's just mountain peaks, just rocky mountains. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. They're forested, rocky, depending on the time you go, still snowy a little bit.
Mhm.
And you're just looking down at this lake, this tiny little
The
lake,
Pac-Man Lake.
little Pac-Man lake. Yeah, there's two lakes there, which is what my camping trip did. We hiked up to one, then we bushwhacked all the way over to the Harrison Lake. I forget what the other one's called, Beehive or something like that.
Oh, nice. I haven't been to that one before.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's supposed to be 7 miles, but we ended up, because of our bushwhacking and backtracking, it ended up being 13 miles of a
Nice.
hike. Yeah, so it's relatively close.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's cool. It was a fun time. That was a fun hike. It's
Yeah.
literally the background of my phone.
It's a beautiful place.
So shenanigans though, like I went to more organized camping trips,
Mhm.
more like a lodge with stuff, more civilized, more glamping, if you will. There's cabins, stuff like that. We had like a cool zip line. It was a really tiny one, but it was kind of fun. Because of how small it was super not high up off the ground. So, you'd be kind of holding your knees up even,
Oh,
and
yeah.
especially by the time you get to the bottom. And so it would be fun to try and latch on to the person as they're going onto it. There was a lot of fun shenanigans like that. There was another time they took us into these backwoods where they had this huge, it was a tree. It was a big log, like a telephone pole kind of thing. I think that's how they stuck it into the ground. They just dug a big hole and stuck it in.
Yeah.
So it was pretty wobbly, but there was a ton of pegs in it, and you had to get to the top and stand on top of it.
Ooh,
And
that
you're all
sounds fun.
harnessed in, and it was like a big trust exercise where everybody was supposed to catch you.
Oh, yeah.
Super fun. I was the only. That's not true. I was one of the only guys to make it to the top. Yet when I made it to the top, I ended up falling. So
Oh, no.
I was like on the way up, fell off. Super fun. Crazy thing that as you would get higher and higher up, the entire log would begin to wobble more and more.
Oh, dear.
It was terrifying.
Oh, come on, dude.
Oh, is it
It's getting a
sagging?
little low.
Just a little bit.
Mine's chilling.
That? Yeah, yours is. It's chill.
Trying to not let it get too far away. Thank
Sagging
you.
like my hopes and dreams.
So true, dude. Me when I sag like I'm a fucking
Yeah, what sags other than balls?
crazy. Let me see.
All of us were thinking, but you said it.
I actually wasn't thinking that at all.
Really, what were you thinking? You started saying something.
Fucking, what are they called, dude?
You really like that word.
Fucking?
Yeah.
Alright, that's it. I'm done.
Do you like swearing?
No, but I do it a fair bit when I'm playing video games and when I get scared.
Nice, alright, cool.
Yeah, usually the only time I cuss up a storm is if I'm playing video games and I get scared.
Is there a specific one?
Not necessarily. It's usually just any game if there's either a boss or I'm doing something and it's calm and normal and then I get surprised by stuff.
Do you play like Dark Souls or anything?
I'm not that crazy or I'm not that crazy of a gamer. I do play usually first-person shooters or crafting, building games. Survival games are my favorite. Well,
Dude, same.
survival and building. And, yeah.
Same, yeah. Like 7 Days to Die, Minecraft.
Minecraft's wonderful. I love Minecraft. Mods make it better.
You think so?
I
I
do
feel like
think
anytime
so.
I get a mod, I get overwhelmed because it's not what I grew up on, and I lose that nostalgia feeling,
Fair.
and I just can't handle it, and I get bored.
One of my favorite things with Minecraft is a story that I read. I don't have very many books that I like reading because I need to get into it more, but I
I have
haven't
books
gotten
if you
into
want to try
reading
reading
more.
some, except they're all like self-help books, trying to figure out how to be a man kind of thing.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Who's into self-help books? There's only one good How to Be a Man book.
Jordan Peterson's got a few good ones.
It's called the Bible. Dumb idiot.
That's true.
What do you think they had back then?
Well, I don't know. Most of the
their parents.
Yeah, better parents.
Dang, yeah, you're so right.
A dad?
That's unfortunate. No, well, what? I don't have a dad.
They had dads.
They do, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them did.
I technically have a dad. Anyways.
I'm not gonna make that joke.
What?
No.
Yes, he left with the milk. Yes. Well, man, I want to hear it now.
What?
Your joke.
Oh.
You want to hear a bad one? I could say a worse one.
Go for it.
Why are New Yorkers the fastest readers?
Why?
Because they can go through 90 stories in 3 seconds. Cool, now you can say yours without... Yeah, there you go. If I'm the worst guy in the room, then you're chilling.
Yeah. It's not necessarily a joke. It's more just a quip in regards to dads. Dads are fun. Dads are good. Dads are important.
That's the quip?
No.
I'm like, what? That's
no.
no.
Disregard it at this point. It's
Dang, dude. Okay.
You get cut out if it's actually bad. Whip it out, dude.
Whip it out.
Come on.
Whip it.
Unleash.
Unbuckle it.
we good.
All right.
It's more of a situational thing if I have to put it in at the right time, and I didn't get it at the
I
right
don't have
time.
a dad. There. Did I set you back up?
Why? Is it okay if we talk about that?
Yeah.
Or why?
Why don't I have a dad?
Yeah. Why don't you have a dad?
Well, back in the day,
Back in the day.
my parents met each other at some college. Then they got married. Then they had me many years later. And by the time I was 12, they got a divorce because he's a narcissistic manipulator. Now I want to follow that up with, he is forgiven and I love him. And I even called him up for the first time in many years last Father's Day.
Good to be able to talk with him.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Odd situation.
It's an odd situation, I suppose. There's been a lot of development with my family and him, kind of thing. But
good or bad development?
Good.
That's good.
I don't know if he's necessarily awakened to, he still blames everybody else, kind of thing, for what happened.
It's hard for narcissists to change. It's very hard for narcissists to change.
Yeah, I don't think he's gotten to the point where he understands that he himself is the problem. But, with more prayer and time, we kind of all figure that it's probably a God thing why he hasn't seen it yet.
The only thing
and
that
we still have something to learn from him through this situation, right? But yeah, there's been a huge development with my family where, I need to give context now.
Sorry.
No, you're good, dude. Let's get into it. So my family, so my parents divorced when I was 12. Dad was out of the picture then until it was last December where he lost his place. And so he ended up moving back in with his mom. So his mom, my grandma, she owns land over in Western Washington, where some of my other family live, all on one hill. It's called Lindley Lane and everything. Super cool.
Nice.
Yeah. And so he moved back up there, and all my brothers and I at the time, this would only be a few months after I really came to Christ.
Yeah.
Along with all my brothers. We kind of all came to Christ within a few months of each other. It was kind of fun. Or came back to him rather.
Yeah.
But we all called each other up and went, this is bad. Dad's going over there. This is not going to work, because we know how destructive he can be.
Yeah.
And our family over there, we love them so much. We respect them so much. The last thing we want is to put our dad over there, right? Which we aren't doing. It's not like it's our responsibility necessarily. It's all on him. But he goes over there, and he was there for 6 months. My brother Jeremiah and I, we went over there for a trip to visit. And this has been 6 months at that point. There was a lot of tension being built.
Yeah.
By that point, by the time that we were there, a crazy thing happened with my family where my grandma ended up kicking out my aunt and uncle and, their immediate family, right? So my cousins and my aunt and uncle. And that has never happened before. That's my grandma kicking out her daughter from her house over a dispute over my dad because of the conflicts that he's been causing just by him being there, right? And it's something that has never happened in my family. My family, I am so blessed to have the family I have. I look up to all of them. We do not have drama. And the drama that we do have, it's pretty minimal, right? It's like specific. It's not, that has never happened before.
Yeah.
Like arguments don't break out. And so to have that had happened, Jeremiah and I at the time, we were talking with our dad outside, and we come back. So they were kicked out, and we sit down with our grandma, and being the mother that she is, it took her 6 months to finally say it, but she said the words, "I need him gone."
Yeah.
Because she was seeing the destruction that was following him. She even described it as a spirit of destruction. Like,
That's insane.
yeah, which is like, all right.
Bears, dude.
So Jeremiah and I then, we go down to the Johnsons, my aunt, uncle, and cousins, right? Update them on our talk with our grandma. Then we call up our older brothers, Caleb and Josh, and we're like, all right, guys, grandma said the word. And we made the plan as soon as dad first moved over there as soon as grandma said the word, we're getting him out of there.
Yeah.
So we got a plane ticket for him that night. The next day, Jeremiah and I went up there and took him to the Seattle airport, flew him down to Boise, and that's where my older brothers live. And he's actually living with my oldest brother, Caleb, right now, which is a miracle in itself. So my oldest brother, Caleb, he was the closest to our dad growing up. He was he really followed in all of his footsteps. He looked up to him. He really wanted to prove himself to our father.
Yeah, the firstborn, the eldest.
Yeah, and so him and Caleb, Josh and Caleb, my two oldest brothers, right? I am 9 and 8 years younger than them. So they were men by the time dad was out of the picture. The divorce happened when I was 12, so they would have been 19, 18 kind of thing.
Yeah.
So by that point, they, trying to be their own men, they kind of realized dad's kind of not cool, and they ended up like telling him off and saying that he's dead to them, right?
Yeah.
And they left the home just to get away from him. And ever since then, especially Caleb has been very staunch on never allowing him back into his life, right?
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden we all meet Jesus, and it was all in the perfect timing for all of this to go down. And on that phone call when we were at the Johnson's house, my cousin's place, talking to my brothers about what to do with our dad, all of a sudden my oldest brother Caleb, he pipes up and he goes, "I'll take him." And we all, like, it went quiet, and we're all like, "What? What do you mean?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's about time. I'll take him."
Wow.
And I'm like, "Whoa." Okay, so I can't stress how much of a miracle that is. How much there's no way you can sum that up to anything other than God working in somebody's heart. And it's been an incredible experience since then. Both of my older brothers down there have been, hanging out with him, right? He's kind of been reconjoined to the family in a limited manner, because he lives with them.
Yeah.
So it's been good in that sense of there is a rebuilding of a relationship, and we are all trying to honor our father. We don't have to respect him necessarily, but we do want to honor him because that is what the Bible calls us to do. So in this way, we are doing so, along with just having some sort of relationship with him, even if it's not the most healthy. At least it's one-sided almost. I don't know. It's an interesting relationship because he's really fun. He's a fun guy. He's just manipulative and, like our grandma said, just kind of brings destruction wherever he goes. So it's it's interesting. It's an interesting place to be in, but it's definitely, as far as I'm concerned, it's gotten to this point because of God, and I have no reason to not trust God with it currently, right? It's all in it, like the timing of everything that has gone on. My dad losing the place, he had that place for years, right, since the divorce, and he lost it this time, where then we all met Jesus, where then all of our hearts were softened towards him, where then we were able to remove him from our family, right? Not only that, but then that family was able to experience it, which then allows them to relate to us more, which is kind of cool, because there was always kind of a disconnect with some of the family where it's really hard to explain what my father did because of his charisma.
Yeah.
And the way that it just kind of, while you're living with him, there's nothing, you are always the bad guy. you know, but you can't really. It's always things though that you can push to the side or look. You know, he will convince you that it's gonna change. He'll convince you that it's not actually a problem, or
It's hard to see a problem when you're in the middle of it.
it's really hard, dude.
Yeah.
And then it's hard to explain it afterwards because you've already been convinced that it's not a problem. So it's like, what was even the problem? I just know that I hated my life. You know, it's kind of it's interesting. It's confusing, and that's what makes it so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Yeah, so God's been doing all sorts of stuff with my family. It's been really interesting and fun. But yeah, love my dad. He is my dad after all. I want to honor him. He is forgiven. This is not a slander. I do not ever want to insult him anymore. Yeah, it's been good stuff. My 2 older brothers are very optimistic. They say that they see growth in him. And so we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, it's all in God's timing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been really cool. I don't know. Do you have a dad?
I do not.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude,
That's
no dad
That's
gang?
what my quip was going to be about.
Oh, nice.
So, do you want to hear the quip first or the
Yes,
context?
absolutely.
Do you want the context or the quip first?
Quip. Let's do
gosh.
the quip.
At least you have a dad. So,
Good, well,
context for that.
Kinda, yeah.
Context for that. When I was younger, I think it was in grade school, or maybe I think it was grade school. Parents were having troubles. Dad was throughout my childhood. My dad liked to drink, and that was a problem. And he was also a narcissist, which not the best combination.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Keeps life exciting.
As a kid, I never noticed it, and still to this day, I'm not a good judge of personality. Of course, my mother did, because, she married the guy. With time, though, she... eventually it got to a point where she was like, no more alcohol, or just no more alcohol, because it was
She's
such a
putting
big
her foot
problem.
down. Heck yeah.
And for a while he was clean. Like even our pastor got involved with trying to help him to get over his addiction of alcohol.
Yeah.
But then there was
so he seemed willing to getting through it.
But then there was one day, me and my brother, we have a 2-level house, a basement and the normal level. And one day me and my brother were sitting on the stairs. Our dad was downstairs, so we were going to go down to see what he was doing, because I think we were going to do something with him outside. And we started to walk down the stairs, but then he was doing something. We didn't want to distract him or whatever, so we just sat on the stairs. And he was pouring out some root beer into a glass, and then he was pouring some mouthwash into the glass, which that's just... To me, that sounds disgusting because it's mouthwash, and you're weird if you drink mouthwash. But mouthwash has some alcohol in it, so he was getting his fix through mouthwash. And then once he downed that, he looked over and was like, "How long have you guys been there?" Not very long. Why? So later that day, talked to our mom about it. Didn't go very well. Later that night, I'm pretty sure he was out of the house.
Dang.
And so after that, he went...
Fumbled over mouthwash.
Gonna try to remember the timeline. I think at first he was at a rehab clinic. He was there for a while. I think over a month. Over in Coeur d'Alene. And
is that where you grew up, Coeur d'Alene?
Me?
Yeah.
I grew up in Deer Park, north of Spokane.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool.
And then... after that, he moved in with some of his old friends in Spokane, and he lived with them for a long time, and I think like a year or two, and then eventually he got his own place, and after a while, once he had gotten his own place and stuff, we would hang out with him every other weekend. So either he'd come up to Deer Park and he'd pick up me and my brother, and we'd go bowling or go swimming or something, and then just hang out with him for the day, or sometimes we'd go back to his place and spend the night at his place, and then hang out more the second day, go to church on Sundays and whatnot. and then eventually got another place, and eventually got a girlfriend. She was nice. That went on for a while, and then I very vividly remember the dates, as I'm pretty sure you do as well with some of your things in life. October 30th, 2017. I was very happy because the next day was going to be Halloween and I was going to go get to hang out with my friends. And I'm pretty sure it was Monday. And it was either Monday or Tuesday. And just a couple days prior, I'd just seen my dad. My mom worked at the hospital at the time. So at the weekends that we'd be with him, once we were done with him, we'd go to the hospital and meet with my mom. After she got off work, we'd go back home with her, and then he'd go back to his place.
Mm-hmm.
So just a couple days prior, I'd seen him, and he was in good spirits, and it was all good. And then, so I was happy. Just gotten home from school. My mom's not in a very good mood, so me and my brother walk up to her and, "What's up? We need to go on a walk and have a talk." My father had shot himself.
Whoa.
Yeah. Changed things a bit, as you could imagine. Some irony. I don't actually know if this is true, but I think it is. Apparently, his father had shot himself with a .22. And then that .22 made it to my father, and he shot himself with that same .22. I no longer know where that .22 is, and I do not care, and I never want to have it around me. So that's some irony for you. But then following that, I was very sad because I didn't go to. My mom was like, "You're not going to school tomorrow. You're not doing anything tomorrow." And the next day was Halloween, so I didn't get to go trick or treating with my friends. So I was very sad. But that was the event I referenced earlier of the thing in 2017. In regards to that, though, that event certainly did bring me closer to God, which I am grateful for. And one of the things that I struggled with for a while was if my dad was saved or not. And of course, God, with his consistency of talking me with music and nature, one day I was on a trip to cross country to do some, I think, cross country stuff.
I love cross country.
You're crazy. Cross country's dumb. You're running for no reason, but I love it. I love cross country.
Oh, okay, cool. I thought you were about to hate on it.
No, I love cross country. My friends were runners in middle school and high school, so I joined them.
Amen.
Short distances, high school distances, college distances are crazy. I'm not that crazy. But I was through. I was listening to some music and just with like how God sometimes changes the context of the music and whatnot. He changed the context at the same time that I was passing past my dad's old house, and I took that to be that my dad was in heaven and he was looking down, which I was very happy that day to.
It sounds like you still had a good relationship with your dad.
Yeah.
Baller.
Yeah.
Good stuff, dude.
So that's my tales of my dad.
When was that? How long
How
ago has it been now?
Gosh, 2017. So it's 2024.
7.
Yeah, 7 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
kind of.
It'll be 7 in a couple months. 7 years in a couple months.
The quip definitely would have been better after. Yeah. Wild. How do you think that is? Yeah, it's cool. So I was about to ask you, how do you think that's affected your relationship with God? But you just said that it brought you closer. So
Yeah,
I
the
have a
one.
question.
Shoot.
So Catholics like to believe that suicidal individuals go straight to one of the circles of hell.
That's dumb.
Yeah, it is. Oh shit. Well, I guess that's it.
I realize that suicide or whatever might be considered a sin, but because you're killing someone or whatever. But
That doesn't revoke your salvation.
No, if you were saved before you killed yourself, you're still saved afterwards. God's not going to be like, oh, you shot the wrong person, you're not saved anymore.
That was the unforgivable sin. Actually, you figured it out.
Okay, so I've heard the take that suicide is selfish. What do you think about that line?
Oh, gosh. Oh,
As someone who's been personally affected by it.
I have a couple of remarks, and I'm not sure which ones I want to say.
All of them?
Gosh. Yes, I do think it is. That's in my personal experiences. That's something that I have thought about. In that, when you're thinking about killing yourself, and you might think about it pretty seriously, but then you talk to a friend, and if you do bring that up, or if it's just brought up, even without you as the context, the thing that they'll often reference is how much it'll affect everyone around you. And that's something that one of my wise young friends has brought up a couple times, is that if you kill yourself, it doesn't make anything better. Sure, you don't have to worry about it anymore, but it makes everyone's life so much worse around you. I think, yeah, it is selfish because everyone around you has to suffer. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to worry about it anymore. But everyone else around you has to suffer because of your choice, which is pretty much the definition of selfishness.
Do you think what do you think the importance of having a father is?
The importance of having a father, gosh. Having a role model, especially for guys. Guys become their mothers, but they look up to their fathers to have an example of what a man is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And if that has a void, you fill it with someone else. For me, it was neighbors, and one of the ones at the time was the high school principal, who was also had been my baseball coach and was good friends with him. So
well, yeah, for me it was my older brothers and my uncles and grandpa, I guess. Just any masculine figure that I respected in any regard, I looked up to and watched carefully. Yeah, for sure. I also wanted attention from them. Yeah, big time. I wanted them to tell me that they're proud of me, kind of thing. Yeah,
makes you feel like you're doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that really helped with the principal guy was that he, multiple months after it had happened, he came up to me one day and was like, I know that stuff goes, things take time, and it's probably around the time that most people have started to forget about it, but if you ever need to talk, I know that things go through different stages, and so he was amazing.
Cool, dude. Rad.
Oh yeah, another thing to tack on with that, mental health. My mother growing up and through being a nurse, didn't treat her body and her mental health very well at certain points in her life. So in her older age, she's 60 something now, she has made that a big part of her life, is trying to make sure she treats her body and mental health more important, treats it with more importance. And seeing that has affected how I do certain things, and especially with mental health, of having a good mentor for mental health, I think is very important growing up, because the stereotypical guy thing of just bottle it up, don't care about it.
Amen.
Doesn't work. It works in the moment. It'll work in the next while, the next multiple years, but eventually it's not going to. And I think a good mental health mentor is just as important as having a dad to look up to or anything like that.
Cool, dude. Yeah.
Sorry for that random tangent.
No, that was awesome. Okay, so how do you then do that? How do you even do that? How do you know when you're bottling it up? How do you I know for me, I feel like it was probably different in the sense of our emotional attachment to it,
Yeah.
and or reaction to it. I guess reaction to it. Where when my parents got divorced, even for all my siblings, it was different.
Yeah.
I had I felt there was tears at first, but then it was a feeling of relief. Where maybe yours was different.
The weird thing as far as the divorce went was at first my mother just filed for separation to be I don't exactly know what that is, but
Like both still have custody kind of thing.
I don't know. But that was the reason what my mother wanted, because she wanted him to go fix yourself and then come back to the family. Spend time with God,
Cool.
fix yourself,
Yeah.
come back. I don't want to be divorced. Eventually my dad was like, I want a divorce. And so with that, it was very weird for a long time. And at the time we were going to a counselor. And sometimes he'd ask, like, are you, because he knew what we were going through. So sometimes he'd ask, like, are they divorced? And both me and my brother were like, we don't know. So that was a weird thing with that. But as far as the emotions around it,
Can I ask you questions about your dad and maybe see if I can
shoot.
like if he was also narcissistic? My dad, a big part of his argument for the divorce or why he blames my mom is because he believes that she should have respected him no matter what. Or respect is not earned but rather given because he's the man of the house, right? That's what he thinks. That's what he thinks the Bible says, which it doesn't. Definitely doesn't. And I guess I want to ask if your dad had similar ideas.
Okay. A lot of things, this going to give context at first. A lot of things in my life, I'm just go along with the flow.
Yeah.
And as far as calling my father a narcissist, most of his narcissistic tendencies I never saw because I was just young. And
Fair enough. Yeah.
Still to this day, not a good judge of character. Thank the Lord he puts me around mostly good people. But as far as like what he did and stuff, I don't know that much. I just call him a narcissist because that's what my mother called him. And of course,
Gotcha.
She knew him a lot better than I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7 years ago. Yeah, young.
We
were both young.
13 when he died, so yeah. So like 10 to 13, you're not a very good judge of character, especially with people who you just assume are good, so you don't really look into it too much.
Yep.
I don't know. One thing that I'm still kind of salty. Well, I'm not actually salty about it. I just think it's a little annoying. Our uncle was in the Army, and so at one point he got me and my brother a really cool Humvee. It was like
one of like the kid drive around ones.
Not so it wasn't one of those, but you had a remote for it and you could drive it.
Oh,
but
sick.
It was the scale of it was like that long. It was like that tall.
It's huge.
It was wonderful.
The size of one that like kids literally drive.
Yeah. Yeah, almost that big. And but my father, in his wisdom, was like, if I can't have something like that, then they're not gonna have something like that. And then I'm pretty sure we only played with it like once or twice, and then we never saw it again.
Dang, dude.
Which makes me very sad because it was a really cool hobby.
That is salt. What the frick? Come on.
But yeah.
Dang, dude. Shoot.
I don't know.
Well, we could spin the conversation to moms. My mom's awesome.
I love my mother.
Dude, shout out to our moms. They're literally, my mom is
I love you.
Probably the biggest influence in my life. Yeah. Why I never shut the door on Christianity completely.
Yeah.
Like she really does show the love of Christ, and it's just, she's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool, dude.
My mother is.
Do you think Sorry, yeah.
Oh,
do your
so-
mom
no.
thing. Oh, no?
you're
Okay.
good.
Do you think God will eventually use you in a way that takes advantage of that experience?
Yes. One thing that I heard in a Bible study, I guess, at one point, was the troubles you go through in life aren't. Okay, I'm trying to remember the
You're
word
good,
thing
dude.
that
You're
he
good.
used.
Take your time.
In the troubles that you go through
Scratch
in life,
those wrinkles.
let me finish the whole part, because if I don't finish the whole part, it sounds really bad. In the troubles you go through in life, you don't matter. It's not about you. It's about the people that you will be able to connect with afterwards because of that.
Mm.
Like your parents getting divorced and all of that.
Yeah.
Because you've gone through those things, you will be able to not just sympathize but empathize with people that have also gone through that, and God will be able to use you through that to bring more people to the faith and bring more people to God.
Even just the testimony of this is what happened, and yet here I am now today,
Yeah.
victorious with Jesus Christ. You know, it's that's powerful. Cool, dude. That's so rad. Oh, that gets me amped up. That's exciting. I'm excited for the future. That's for sure. Do you want to be a dad then?
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
How many chillins you want?
Oh gosh.
1, maybe 5, maybe 18, like a Mormon couple.
I think
Crazy.
2 or
I zoned
3.
out.
2 or 3 would be nice.
2 or 3. I want 5 because that's what I grew up with. 4 siblings, so 5 kids, right?
Yeah.
Kind of feels like the perfect number to me. You got the 2 older. At least for us, it was 2 boys, 1 girl, 2 boys. So my sister probably could have used a sister, but she was with 4 brothers.
I feel bad for her.
Brother-wise, it's been really awesome. That's for sure. I don't know. It's like the 2 brothers on the top, right? They kind of have each other to go through life with, and then
Yeah.
I'm a twin, so then the 2 brothers have each other to go through life with. And thankfully for Anna, my sister, our mom is really awesome, so they have a really close bond. You know, they're super close.
That's good.
So yeah, I don't know. It kind of worked out, I guess. It's kind of cool that God did that. My dad actually had a vasectomy.
Oh.
He had a vasectomy. 6 years later, after getting it, grew back, and Jeremiah came out. They had twins on accident.
Fuck yeah.
So they meant to have 3 kids, and they ended up with 5 because they had twins after the surgery malfunctioned. I guess that's known to happen. You're
Yeah.
supposed to go in and
Tubes
check.
just get untied.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So literally, God was like, you guys are going to be born right here.
You are having more. I want more from you.
It's kind of fun to think if God wants you to have a certain person come out of you, then, he's going to make it happen whether you got a surgery to make sure it didn't happen or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of
That's
kinda
actually
cool.
So godular. Oh man.
Godular. That's such a good word.
It is.
Yeah. Even if you try to stop God, probably isn't gonna work.
Do you think we can influence God's will, or do you think it'll ultimately come to fruition?
Pretty sure you asked me about that before.
I probably did. I like that
Um,
question.
And I'm pretty sure I have the same response. I have a similar response, but with what you said last time in mind. I'm pretty sure the example I gave last time was Abraham at the time. Abraham? Yeah, Abraham.
Lincoln?
No, sorry. In regards to Abraham and Sodom and Gomorrah.
Okay.
He bartered God down, but God still knew that there wasn't going to be anyone besides
Oh,
Lot.
right. Yeah.
So God still knew he was going to win the argument. So I don't know.
I think it was to show, the desire from God to communicate with His people and not just be.
To show mercy.
Can you tell the story for the people who don't know?
Okay. So God came down and told Abraham, these towns over here, Sodom and Gomorrah, they're really bad, sin, debauchery, everything, all the bad stuff. And God was like, they're really bad, and if I can't find, he started with a really big number of if I can't find 100
Mm-hmm.
they weren't Christians at that point, 100
Believers,
God-fearing
God
Jews,
worshippers.
yeah, people who follow God. If I can't find 100 of them, then I'm gonna destroy the whole place. I'll spare them, but I'll destroy everything else
Mhm.
and everyone else. And then Abraham was like, that's a really big number. Can we go down to 50? Okay, 50. But I'll save them and I'll destroy everything else. 20. 10. He kept getting it lower and lower. And then I don't remember, what was the number that the lowest number?
I think it was 1, right? Was it not 1? Look
I
it
think,
up, John.
I think it was higher than 1. But eventually they got it down to a really low number.
Well, because it was a family, wasn't it? Could
Yeah.
have been 4 then. I don't know.
What was the story?
Sodom and Gomorrah with Lot. So eventually Abraham got it down to a really low number and was very grateful to God that God showed mercy in bringing the number down, and that maybe all these people wouldn't die. Granted, with the law that God had put in place, they all deserve to die, just like all of us do, without being saved. And then, lo and behold, God goes down, and there's one person. How many?
So, God initially agreed to spare Sodom and Gomorrah if 50 righteous people
50.
could be found within
Okay.
the cities. Abraham, however, persisted in his intercession, and God eventually lowered the number to 10 righteous individuals. Ultimately, only 4 righteous people, Lot and his family, were found, and they were spared.
Yeah, which they didn't actually all get out.
Yeah, no, his wife looked back, and she turned into a pillar of salt.
Oh yeah, I've
And
got
that
something
pillar
to
of
say
salt
about that.
Still exists. It's actually like they found.
That's
a
disturbing.
Well, there's salt where they think that Sodom and Gomorrah was, right?
No. I'm talking. Lot's wife turned into salt.
Yeah, but it
Pillar of
like it
salt.
wouldn't still be in pillar form, would it?
No, it was like she was.
Yeah, she turned into a pillar of salt, right? But that
Yeah.
pillar,
You can still find that pillar.
can't you
Like,
just? I
the
figured
shape
that.
of her was into salt.
Yeah,
It's withered away somewhat, but it's still like there.
wouldn't there just be like salt around the ground, kind of thing?
No, it's like hardened.
It's like a rock because it's been
Oh, just like
underground.
one big crystal.
Not like table salt.
Oh, I always imagined it just like table salt, where she just like collapsed into the like snow, you know,
Like literally solid. Salt.
like a one gigantic crystal.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
You
wild.
know that's where salt like comes from, right?
I guess so. Yeah.
Table salt. It's not.
No, yeah, it's not just.
Yeah.
It's not sand
And then
that we go
she's
dig up.
Looking back at the sulfur they found.
Oh, yeah.
underground, That's
Yeah,
like
that-
the whole thing.
Oh yeah, so sulfur, pure sulfur is not a naturally occurring thing. Like balls of sulfur are not a naturally occurring thing.
Right.
They're like isn't it like magma and stuff? It's a thing, but
Maybe.
it's not. It's never in nature. Sulfur is never on its own like a ball of sulfur.
You don't find veins of it.
But the really cool thing, like history proving that the Bible's real and whatnot, is in Sodom and Gomorrah with that, there's the balls of sulfur all over the place. They came down in balls of fire to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah.
So
Literally a
cool.
nuke. That's how big the fucking like they determined that it was the explosion was that of similar to a nuke.
Yeah.
That makes
Happened
sense.
on Sodom and Gomorrah because God just boom, on the earth.
Oh, that's
Destroyed
so
the
awesome.
Entire city,
Yeah.
So there's.
I just had a thought.
remnants.
I feel like most people, especially non-believers, would still look at that and go, well, then he must be evil because he just slaughtered a ton of people, right? But under the guise of even though we are believers and we are saved by Jesus Christ, we still deserve death.
Yeah.
If we deserve death, then is it not ultimately just to kill us?
Yeah.
It would be just to kill us. It'd still be. Oh man. So it doesn't affect God's just,
Mhm.
if you will. How do you say that? It doesn't make him unjust just
Yeah.
to slaughter all of us.
Yeah.
Because we all deserve it. Oh, that's cool. I don't like that sounds so obvious now that I'm saying it, but I don't feel like I've made that connection. That's cool.
Another random thing that has been brought to my attention through I think like Instagram or YouTube or something was God wants you to go forward in life. An example of that is Lot's wife looked back and it didn't go well for her.
Oh, that's wild.
So
Oh, that's cool.
God has plans for you in your future, so keep looking forward and don't look back because it's the past and you can't affect it anymore.
Oh, I like that a lot. everything in the Bible, every verse has so many different things within it,
Yeah.
and that's really cool. I like that a lot. That's wild. I'm trying to think of things that I look back on.
I look back at a lot of stuff I shouldn't.
Me too, dude. Me too. Probably for me it would be my lady situation.
Oh, yep.
Miss her, dude. Shoot. That's too bad.
Oh, that's where my mind went first as well.
Yeah, really? Yeah, you had a lady back in the day?
Multiple. Not at the same time, but
I had a whole one. Well, kinda. I technically had two, but I always forget about the second one. So just the one for the most part. Serious relationship, one.
I've had 2 serious relationships. They were both
My
nice.
man.
They, ironically, both of them started with her starting it, and both of them ended with her ending it. Well, the ladies starting it and the ladies ending it. Both of them, I'm still on speaking terms with both of them. One of them, trying to get back being friends with. So that's interesting.
Oh, all right. So there might be some development here. For me, it's more like it was 2 years of being, well, it was probably a year and a half of being awesome. And then I graduated. She was still in high school. So I started to, all my friend group moved down to Moscow. No more social life. My job was YouTube, so I just was in my room. So no coworkers. I had no social life whatsoever. I had no reason to leave my house because my work was at my house, in my room. And I began to express tendencies of my father, which wasn't
Ooh.
cool. I became very controlling and or narcissistic. It all kind of became about me, and all my I put the responsibility of my happiness onto her, including my relationship with Christ, including my social life, including everything. Right? It was all on her and on her shoulders, and so that went down in a falling blaze of glory. But yeah, and then ever since then, it was 8 months after the breakup. Then that was really cool. So we met up again. She gave me like 30 minutes of time, and I apologized to her about everything. And then that was she said that she forgave me, which was huge. I didn't ask her to.
Yeah.
So that was crazy. And ever since then, it's been kind of I continue to realize how foolish I was and how awesome that she is, right? She definitely, especially through high school, based off of my memory, which I know that I definitely have obsessed over her and put her on a pedestal, right? It's not necessarily who she is, probably. It's my recollection of her. It's the fantasy that my mind has made of her. You know, she is somebody that I would still look up to. Then again, I have not seen her in years.
Yeah.
You know, who knows what she's like now, kind of thing. So I don't know. It's if she ever gave me a second chance, I would totally go for it. But I don't think that'll happen, honestly, at this point. So yeah. Shout out to you. You know who you are. Miss you. Thank you.
Dude is bald now.
I'm also bald now. This would be that's crazy. I'm bald. If you want to feel my bald head, reach out. I'll let you feel it. What was that?
Someone fucking fell over, dumped water everywhere.
Somebody upstairs just fell over.
Or they just shat and flushed the toilet. It's just, I think actually happened, but anyway.
Kip, do you think you'd go bald with me?
Don't do it, dude. Don't be locked in.
Come on, he's considering it right now. You're gonna have to do it eventually for the military anyway, right?
No,
the Airforce lets you.
Yeah. So
lets you grow out your hair, dude?
with basic, so not I can't grow it out. It has to be within regulation. But like this is already like I'm pretty sure this is almost too much.
I think I've seen you before with shorter hair.
I like short hair. I love short hair. I love
looks clean.
one of my Air Force buddy buddy from high school. He enlisted in the Air Force. His how he thinks about hair is his hair at least. If it's too long that it doesn't dry itself when I get out of the shower, it's too long. So I like that motto, and I want to do that once school starts back up. I'm going to keep my hair. I'm planning to keep my hair that short because I like short hair. Short hair is easy to deal with.
I've taken a total of 2 showers since I got my since I shaved all my hair off.
Thought you were
And
gonna say since he moved here, and I was gonna.
no way, dude.
My mind was going there as well.
No shot. I've showered
That's why
more
this
than
place
twice.
fucking stinks, dude.
It doesn't stink. I just cleaned it. It smells like bleach right now. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I put the towel on to like try and clean my, dry my hair
Yeah.
off, and there was none. And because of like the tiny little hairs, kind of acts as like little hooks apparently.
Oh, nice.
So my towel wouldn't move. Like trying to like do the, shake it up and down kind of thing to try
Yeah.
and dry off the hair. There was no hair, and the hair that was there was keeping my towel from moving whatsoever. So I just had to like lift then the towel back up off of my scalp, and then dry off the rest of me. That was
Nice.
so that's new. I've never experienced that before. I've never had my towel grapple to my head. That was cool.
Yeah.
Being bald has been fun so far. Honestly, I'm gonna try and give it 2 weeks. I'm gonna go surprise my mom being bald because I thought that'd be fun. And at that point, I will probably decide whether or not I want to keep it or not.
Yeah.
Because I could always just grow my hair out again. But
Because it doesn't take that long.
nah, like 2 months, I'll be back. Whatever. Then everybody will forget.
Pretty sure less than that.
I'll never forget, Joe.
Yeah,
'Cause
Dylan won't forget, but everybody else will. It'll be fine. The either that or I just stay bald. The thing is if I get contacts, I think I will stay bald.
contacts are wonderful. I love contacts.
I did not like. I've worn them before, but my eyes run dry just like the rest of my body. So they get really uncomfortable. But I figure with eye drops, I would be totally chilling. I'd be fat chilling, dude. Do you like to be fat? No?
Military doesn't like me fat, so I don't like to be fat.
Fair enough. I guess, yeah, if you get too heavy, can you not be in the chair force?
Yeah, you break the chairs then.
No way, really? No way.
But there's so there's the
You wouldn't be able to fit in the jet. Have you flown a plane yet?
in the Air Force in regards to the Air Force, no. I've only ever flown one plane, and that was with a friend.
You're going through the ROTC program, right?
Yep.
So by the time you get to the actual Air Force, what are you doing?
I'm hoping to do maintenance. I'm hoping to be a maintenance officer.
Oh, cool.
I want to be around planes. I
Be
don't wanna
around them, not in them.
Yeah, I want to fly
not-
on my own time after the Air Force. But during the Air Force, I just want to be around them because I think
That's
planes are
cool, dude. Do you ever do a paint job on them to like add like teeth and stuff? Make them look like sharks?
That'd be cool.
Or is that more wartime stuff?
I mean, considering that there's currently A-10s with that on their nose is not it doesn't necessarily have to be a wartime thing.
Yeah, all right.
Because ultimately the purpose of nose art is, at least in my opinion, to increase the morale of the air crews, the people on the planes and the people on the ground seeing them. So that's not necessarily a wartime thing only.
And to strike fear into people.
I mean, usually if they're seeing it, they weren't the target.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess that was like a B-2 bomber kind of thing. Have they made the next one yet? Is there the next
B-21
iteration of...
Spirit, I think. I don't think it's been put into use yet. I think we're still using the B-2. I remember seeing some news titles either today or a couple days ago. They just dropped used a B-2 to drop some bombs on some old ships and had some fun with that.
Oh, wild. All right. Casually just go bomb people.
Whenever we got too many bombs. Like,
USA! USA!
we'll practice, I guess.
Yeah,
That's my tax dollars at work, baby.
Because they had two ships that they didn't serve any purpose anymore, so they're gonna get rid of them. So why not use them as targets?
What drew you towards the military?
So funny thing. I originally wanted to go into the military because I didn't want to have to make choices about my life. So I was like, if I go into the military, I don't have to make choices about like, am I going to do this career? Am I going to do that career? Am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? I can just go into the military, not worry about a thing. It's not quite that easy.
Nope.
No. Especially with, I was like, I'm going to be an officer because I make more money. The one that actually has to make the decisions, the officers, because... I was getting into not make decisions.
This is like God's sense of humor. It's like, you don't want to make decisions? Well, I'm going to make you into a man that makes decisions. Here's a position of leadership.
And the funny thing is, with different officers, some of them, like, if you're a missileer, you're in charge of a couple people and a missile. But in most careers as a second lieutenant, right as you're getting in, you're not in charge of very many people. However, if you're going in as a maintenance officer, you're instantly in charge of a whole crew, in charge of like 20 to 60 people in charge of maintaining aircraft, instead of like the normal like 3 to 5 that most lieutenants are in charge of. So that'll be fun.
Wow, yeah. So like when the war starts, where are you gonna be?
It depends on what kind of aircraft I'm maintaining. It'll most likely be either in Germany or here. Germany, because a lot of air bases are in Germany. Like even when we were in the Middle East and in the sandbox, Germany was I don't remember the name of the airport. Not the airport, the airbase, but Germany was the main focal point of anything. Any medical emergencies would go back to Germany, and everything was based out of Germany. And then everything past Germany was more like a forward operating base, though there was a lot of more developed ones. But Germany was more the focal point, which I think will happen again if stuff kicks off, just because it has the infrastructure and people have used it already.
Do you think you'd ever take a life?
Yes.
Really?
I was just thinking about that earlier today.
So how would
what would make me do it, or what?
how does that tie into your relationship with Christ?
Oh gosh.
Because I've always wondered that, because I've heard many different takes, so I just want to hear another one.
So, in regards to my quick response, it was mostly because of a song I was listening to earlier today. I think that certain people. Okay, it's selfish to kill people. God has a plan for everyone, and if he wants them dead, they're gonna die, but he can use anyone if he chooses to. He used Saul to do amazing things. Without Saul becoming Paul as God wanted, as God chose, everything would be different. And so in that regard, I think killing people is selfish. However, I do think that sometimes I would be selfish and I would kill them. In regards to the quick answer and me thinking about that today, I was listening to a song earlier, and in that song, guy gets married, and then his wife gets raped, and then he goes and kills the men who raped her. So in that case, if I ever, if my wife or daughters ever got raped, yeah, I would probably go and kill the people.
Think so?
Probably. Maybe. Just depends. I might have changed at that point.
I have a comment on that.
Go.
So, you know the serial killer, I think...
Green River Killer?
Yes.
I know exactly what you're talking about. That's exactly what came to my mind.
Yep. The Green River Killer was like a fucking... Just a real jerk.
Western Washington. You know,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure my mother had an interaction with him.
Sorry, yeah, go for it.
During his trial, a bunch of witnesses came to the stand, and they were all like, I hope you go to hell. I hope you rot. You know, I hope you stay and, you know, fucking whatever. That's wishing bad things upon this man. And then one dude, big beard, cool looking guy.
Santa looking guy.
Yeah, looked like Santa. Let's go.
I don't know his relation. Probably a father of one of the victims.
A father of one of the victims, yeah. And he goes, I've heard many people, you know, curse you out today. As much as, or he said, I've always been taught to forgive others, and that's what my God tells me to do, but you've made that very hard for me. But I forgive you, is what he forgave this dude who fucking killed part of his family.
Publicly.
Yeah, and the whole trial, the Green River Killer was unfazed by the comments at him, the curses,
the hatred.
Absolutely unfazed. He was forgiven. Dude broke out into tears, like that. Like that's God at work. Because after that, allegedly he did come to Christ. the Green River Killer. So
Did he?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Same with fucking Ted Bundy, and who's that one gay guy who ate people?
I don't know.
That guy.
Did he?
Also, yeah. A lot of serial killers have come to Christ, and a lot of people don't like that. They can be forgiven and all that, so they're just like, they probably don't mean it, but like, no, it makes sense.
It's not between us and them, it's between them and God.
Yeah, exactly. At that point, we have no right to judge those people.
Yeah.
We're in the same boat.
I know for me personally, when it came to my ex and I in that moment of she chose to forgive me when she didn't have to. And, you know, it's like, man, dude, the power in that, crazy. I don't know, like, even the courage that it takes to be that person to forgive, insane. I don't know. I see why you'd want to kill that person. I would probably have the same tendency. I'm sure I would.
I stand by my remark of it's selfish still.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Because you're taking away that person's, though there's still technically like time, I guess. You're taking away that person's time to come to God.
Mm-hmm. You think that's why murder is bad? Do you think we're able to take somebody's time away, or do you think it's all within God's timing? I guess that goes back to the question of, can we interfere with His will, you know, or is then like how much?
I think everyone has an interaction with God, because God's not gonna just let you go through your life and not try to save you. He's going to make an effort to try and save you.
That's the door.
Yeah, he's always he wants everyone. He wants to save everyone. Who is this?
Is it Cody? Oh,
Howdy.
what's up, dude?
Gentlemen, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Dude, I didn't know you guys were recording.
We are now.
Dude,
Welcome.
how's it going?
Good. Pretty good.
Bars, dude.
What's the time?
Dude, I like the fireplace.
Hour 46.
Thank you.
Yeah, the
Oh, wow.
log.
Hour 46. You want to call it?
Dude.
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, we can call it. Cody's back.
Bars,
What's your final remarks?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
All right. This was Kip Pagac. How do you say your last name?
Payjack.
Payjack. That's sick. That's a very military sounding last name, I feel like.
Thanks.
He's awesome. Do you have anything that you'd want people to like follow or?
No.
All right. Amen, dude.
I think it'd be cool to come back at some point.
Awesome. See you. Cut.
What's up, guys?
Subscribe.
Yes.
Thanks for watching that episode. I hope you really enjoyed. I know we had a fun time making it. Please, if you really want to support us on Patreon, you will be getting the episodes a week ahead of time. So it's definitely worthwhile, or not. Or just support us, just support us, please.
We need money. You guys can find us on all the podcast platforms, hopefully, by this point.
You will.
You will.
You will.
So Spotify, Apple,
All of them.
you know, I guess YouTube, but not really, you know.
And YouTube.
And YouTube. So find us there. Enjoy it. And if you don't, I will find you.
He found me.
Yeah.
Un-
Amen. All right.
I think that's kind of it.
Shit. Okay.
All right. Off to Denny's.
That's a damn good. Yeah.